Looking at the luxurious lifestyles of today's K-pop idols, wearing designer clothes and living in billion-dollar apartments, it's natural for many to assume they were born rich. However, the reality is that the South Korean entertainment industry isn't always filled with children from wealthy families. Behind their big smiles, dazzling stage performances, and global popularity, there are stories of tough struggles for some idols who had to start from the lowest point. They experienced what it was like to live in poverty, beset by debt, and even struggle to afford food before finally successfully transforming their family's fortunes through auditions and long training periods. Let's discuss 8 popular K-pop idols who managed to escape poverty thanks to their hard work. Number 8. Leeteuk, Super Juniors. Being the leader of one of the most influential K-pop groups in the world has earned Leeteuk the respect of many. But his childhood was filled with unpleasant memories due to his family's financial difficulties. His family's financial situation was often tense, as his parents frequently argued due to the pressure of debt and the difficulty of meeting daily needs. This harsh reality forced Leeteuk to mature faster than other children his age in order to find a way out of this difficult situation. Before he successfully auditioned for SM Entertainment and underwent a lengthy training period, he had to endure an emotionally and financially unstable environment. For many, becoming an idol might be about chasing fame or the spotlight, but for Leeteuk, this path was initially the best way to improve his family's financial standing and escape the torturous cycle of poverty. Interestingly, the Korean music industry in the early 2000s was not as promising as it is now, so his decision to gamble on a career as a trainee was a significant gamble with high risks. Super Junior's massive success in Asia later proved that the gamble was worthwhile, and he managed to gradually pay off all of his family's past financial burdens with his own hard work. Through his incredible dedication over the years in the entertainment industry, he not only saved himself, but also provided stability for those closest to him. These childhood struggles shaped Leeteuk into a very patient and resilient leader who always appreciates every blessing he receives with his group. Number 7. Yoonho, TVXQ's Yoonho. Before becoming known as one of the best dancers and a living legend in the Korean music industry, Yoonho had to endure a very difficult adolescence on the streets of Seoul due to his family's total bankruptcy. When he was only 12 years old, a severe financial crisis hit his parents' business, leaving them homeless and forced to leave their home. His determined decision to move to the capital to pursue his dream of becoming a singer was initially met with opposition, resulting in no financial assistance at all during his early years. Due to these extreme financial constraints, Yoonho even experienced the bitterness of homelessness and was forced to sleep on old newspapers on the subway floor for a time. To make ends meet and pay for transportation to practice, he worked part-time at night as a porter or shoveling snow off the frozen city streets. This life of deprivation forced him to be extremely frugal, often skipping meals or consuming only water to satisfy his hunger. In the entertainment world, TVXQ's position as pioneers of the second-generation Hallyu wave wasn't achieved overnight, but through the sweat and tears of their members who had worked their way up from the bottom. Their immense success after their debut proved to be a turning point for their family's troubled fortunes, allowing them to buy a decent new home for their parents and fund their younger siblings' education. He always remembers that bitter experience of sleeping at the train station as a reminder to never become arrogant about the luxuries he now possesses. Number 6. Kim Se-jong. Talented singer and actress Kim Se-jong is known for her cheerful and positive image, despite a childhood steeped in poverty. Raised by a single mother who worked odd jobs to support her two children, Sejong's family was once homeless and had to stay with relatives. Their difficult economic situation led them to be registered as recipients of social assistance from the local government, specifically to ensure that children from low-income families could still receive adequate food. Sejong once shared that in her past, eating a bowl of black noodles, or jjajangmyeon, was an extraordinary luxury, as they could only afford it with food stamps from the welfare program. This limitation did not make her feel inferior or discouraged, but rather fueled her passion to teach herself vocal skills and actively participate in various talent search auditions from her school years. In contrast to the lives of today's children, who are facilitated by expensive music lessons, Sejong actually utilized the empty spaces at school or parks to practice her singing skills without spending a penny. Her hard work began to bear sweet fruit when she managed to rank second on the Produce 101 event and debut with the temporary group IOI, which immediately skyrocketed her name in the entertainment world. The financial success she achieved from advertisements, dramas, and album sales was then used entirely to pay off family debts and provide her mother with a comfortable residence in her own name. Number 5. Taeyang, Big Bang. The Asian financial crisis that struck in the late 1990s had a devastating impact on Taeyang's family's finances, plunging them into utter poverty. Seeing his parents constantly struggling to afford food, Taeyang, who was only 13 at the time, made the big decision to move to Seoul. His primary goal at the time wasn't to pursue stardom, but rather to ease his parents' financial burden by earning his own money through the entertainment industry. He was eventually accepted as a trainee at YG Entertainment, which at the time was still a small agency, operating in a cramped, frequently flooded basement. During his years of training, Taeyang lived with minimal amenities, often living on instant noodles with the other members, and had no pocket money to even go home. An interesting fact about these difficult times is how the limited funds actually forced him to focus entirely on vocal and dance training, as he had no other entertainment options that required money. When Big Bang finally achieved incredible success with their hit songs, Taeyang's financial situation completely transformed, from a child struggling to find food to one of the highest-earning celebrities. He always expressed gratitude for this remarkable transformation by maintaining a humble lifestyle and actively participating in various charitable activities to help children from underprivileged families. Number 4. Sandara Park. Despite enjoying a comfortable childhood, Sandara Park's fate took a drastic turn when her father's business went bankrupt, leaving her with a significant amount of debt. This financial ruin forced her entire family to emigrate to the Philippines in hopes of starting a new life, but the reality there proved incredibly difficult. In their new country, they lived in a very modest environment, and Dara often had to walk long distances because she didn't have enough money for public transportation. As the eldest child, she felt a huge responsibility to help her mother pay for her younger siblings' school expenses, including Thunder, who would later follow in her footsteps into the K-pop entertainment world. Dara then decided to participate in a Philippine television talent show and achieved considerable popularity there before being spotted by YG Entertainment in South Korea. Her journey from the Philippines back to South Korea required an incredibly difficult adjustment, as she had to start over as a trainee with no guarantee of success. Her successful debut with the legendary group 2NE1 not only made her name known throughout the world, but also successfully resolved all of her family's past financial problems that had piled up over the years. Number 3. BTS. Before his face was plastered on giant billboards in major cities around the world, V, or Kim Tae-hung, was an ordinary boy growing up in a remote rural area in Daegu. Because his parents had to work hard all day in the fields to make ends meet, V was raised by his grandmother with a very simple rural upbringing. His family's meager economic circumstances meant that little V never dreamed of becoming the famous star adored by millions of global fans he is today. He even thought that his life path was already predetermined to be a farmer, spending every day hoeing the soil and pulling weeds in the fields with his family. His interest in music only emerged when his father suggested he learn to play an instrument if he wanted to become an artist, which led him to choose to study the saxophone for several years in school. His luck changed completely when he accompanied one of his friends to an open audition held by Big Hit Entertainment in Daegu. The talent scout team on site saw enormous hidden potential in V and asked him to audition, and in the end, he became the only contestant from the region to pass. Number 2. Suga, BTS. Suga's journey to pioneer his music career in Seoul is one of the most heartbreaking and inspiring stories of struggle in the K-pop industry due to his extreme financial constraints. While still living in Daegu and beginning to fall in love with hip-hop music, his family did not support his decision, believing that such a path would not guarantee a stable financial future. When he decided to move to Seoul alone to become a trainee, Suga found himself in a very critical economic situation, having to meticulously count every penny he had. He was often faced with a difficult choice every day, using his limited money to buy a bowl of cheap noodles to fill himself up, or using it to pay for city bus fare. If he chose to buy food, he would be forced to walk home for hours through the cold Seoul nights. To pay for his room rent and other pressing living expenses, Suga took up part-time work as a motorcycle delivery driver, in between his already busy practice schedule. This strenuous part-time job unfortunately led to a traffic accident that resulted in a severe laceration to his left shoulder, which he was forced to hide from his agency for fear of being removed from the trainee list. Number 1. IU. Legendary soloist IU, or Lee Ji-eun, is currently known as one of the richest and most influential celebrities in South Korea, but her past is a stark reflection of extreme poverty. When she was a child, her parents' business failed, resulting in their house being foreclosed on and all the family assets being used to pay off mounting debts. This forced IU and her younger sibling to live separately from their parents, cared for by their grandmother in a tiny, cold, and cockroach-infested rented room. The family's poverty meant they often lacked adequate food, forcing them to survive on boiled potatoes given to them by neighbors. IU's strong desire to become a singer and change their family's fortunes was exploited by irresponsible individuals in the entertainment industry who repeatedly defrauded her through fake agencies. They demanded a substantial registration fee for her family, but then disappeared without a trace after the money was transferred. Failure after failure and ridicule from those around him didn't waver his determination until he was finally accepted by LOEN Entertainment and achieved phenomenal success with the song Good Day. The song's incredible success allowed him to pay off all of his parents' debts in a short time and buy a decent house for his grandmother who had cared for him during difficult times.